In our introduction class, we asked ourselves, what are the 5 main functions of management? Somebody remind us. No, that one is revision. What did we say are the functions of management? Organizing. Another one? Planning, good. Another one? There was planning, there's organizing.
Controlling.
Controlling, good. Another one? So you have said planning, staffing, good. And the last one? Leading. Si hii yenye tunasoma sahi. They lead. So we say this: planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and then controlling. So we now want to understand the concept of leading as a function. Once we are through with leading, we shall not go to the other topics, the other functions. We shall now go to leadership approaches to strategy. That person who has been going through the leadership and management paper, they will notice that in the recent 3 or 4 times, the examiner has been testing the concept of leadership. So you need to understand it very well. So here in this topic, leading is a function of management. We will just be saying that leading refers to, if you see leading, we are talking of inspiring persons to behave in a particular manner. So that is what we call the leading. We will also want you to understand what are some of the elements of leadership. If somebody is to ask you, can you tell us the components or the elements of leadership? We want you to understand them. Okay, so you need to tell us the aspect of it is based on trust. Okay, it influences behavior. We will want to understand what we can say the features of leadership. Then from that, we also need to understand the different types of leaders. So that if you are that person who is taking leadership and somebody tells you, can you identify the leadership adopted in this organization, you can explain to us. You can also tell us the characteristics. That is what the examiner has been testing in very many papers. Tell us the characteristics of charismatic leadership. Tell us the characteristics of transformational leadership. So we will introduce it here today. But then now, in the other topic that we'll discuss, we will talk of leadership approaches to strategy. We will now talk of the leadership styles. So in our topic here, what are the type of leaders? We understand that, okay? And then we also understand the concept of powers. What is the meaning of power? The ability to influence. So when you say that somebody has power, it means that that person has the ability to influence other people's behavior. When somebody tells you authority, what is the meaning of authority? You'll be saying the ability to control others. You want to direct others, not directly, you want to control others and exert some obedience. So we need to distinguish in this topic, what is the distinction between power and authority? What are the different sources of power and authority in an organization? And thereafter, we shall discuss the concept of delegation of authority and responsibility. Don't worry, those things we shall discuss them now. So let us define the term leading or define the term leadership. Define the term leadership. 1 mark. Let us get our 1 mark. It is a process of guiding. It is the process of guiding, directing, inspiring, and motivating persons to behave in a particular manner, in order to achieve organization's objective. In order to achieve organization's objective. So when you see the concept of leadership, the first thing that should come to your mind is we are talking of inspiring people. You want people to behave in a particular manner. Leadership. Okay. So now, when you talk of this leadership, we will also want to understand, okay, what is the distinction between leadership? I think that was a question in the recent sitting, either the CS or the CPA paper. Distinguish between leadership and management. 8 marks. Question. Distinguish between leadership and management. What is the distinction between leadership and management? Now that we have been discussing management, what is the distinction? We have our 8 marks here. So leadership on one side, and then we have management on the other side. So what have we said? At any given time, you start with the definition. What is the meaning of leadership? The process of guiding and directing workers or subordinates. Process of guiding and directing workers to behave in a particular manner in order to achieve objectives, in order to achieve organizations' objectives, in order to achieve organizations' objectives. So we are inspiring, we are directing it. What did we say is the meaning of management? It is the art of getting things done. The art of getting things done through directing all organizational efforts, all the organizational efforts towards achievement of the organization's objective, towards achievement of organization's objective. Towards achievement of the organization's objectives. So leadership, this is the market. Please don't forget guiding and inspiring. Guiding, this one, getting things done, or the coordinated performance of the 5 specific functions of management. Okay, the other one, for leadership, leaders have followers. They have followers. Managers have subordinates. Managers have subordinates. Is that true? People who are following a leader, leader and influencer. A leader is somebody who is influential. A manager is somebody based on their position. Senior, you have become a manager because of the position. The other one, the basis of leadership is trust. That is why we use the influencers. They can inspire people. What about the basis of management? Control. The basis of management is control. The basis of management is controlling other people. It is control. If you remember that, then leadership is proactive. Leadership is proactive. What is the meaning of proactive? Management is reactive. If somebody somewhere decides to ask you, please tell us, what is the difference between proactive and reactive? You have proactive in nature. This one is proactive in nature. you plan. It is something that is identifying issues in advance. Management, most of the times, they are responding, they are reacting to issues. But for the leaders, they will always focus. Did you hear somebody telling us, I may not be in Canaan? Eh? Did you hear them saying those words? But I want you to reach their Canaan. A leader. What about for a manager? Reactive. Oh, here and there. Those ones, they are managers. Reactive. They are reacting to different situations. Leadership brings change. I want you to add leadership brings change, can bring change. Okay? Because it's proactive in nature, it involves identifying things in advance, coming up with strategies on solving them, inspiring people. That is why you only see, for example, if you want to market, you use leaders, persons who can influence. Okay, but for the management, you can tell us it brings stability in the organization, or management aims at stability in the organization. Okay. What is the other thing? Leadership is about influencing others. Leadership is about influencing others. The leadership is influencing others. It aims at influencing others. What about management? About controlling or ruling others. I hope I've given you enough answers for you to answer this question. It's a 10 marks question somewhere. Summarize 4 qualities of a good leader. What can you say? Summarize the qualities of a good leader. What can you say? We said that the examiner can use the word qualities. They can also use the word. What's the other word that the examiner can use? Qualities, attributes, features, attributes of a good leader. This one I give some general answers. What can you tell us? It's a common question though. What are some of the qualities of a good leader? Somebody tell me. That one I said in our last class. Tell us one. Trust. No, use the word reliable. Somebody who is reliable. True. A. Humility. Another one. Emotional intelligent. Tick. Emotional intelligent. Very tick. Emotionally intelligent. That is very, very correct. Good. Another one. Integrity. Good. Integrity. Good. Another quality. Innovative. No one is not saying innovation. Somebody who can generate new ideas. Innovative. Good. Okay, the one that you're saying, good communication skills. Okay. Good communication skills. Good listener. They have good listening skills. Competent tick. I said that you look for good things that you can look in a person. You people, you're not giving me very good things. You don't look in a person very serious things. Why am I getting very, very normal things? Hmm? Man is telling me visionary. You don't want a person who has a vision. We have the plan. In Kenya, the president was elected based on the plan. Did you know he was saying that we have a plan? The vision. He was selling a vision to the people. This is what I want. This is what I will be achieving. Competent. You need a very competent person. That is what we call the professional competence, or as someone who works diligently in the duties. Mobilize. Sasa umeanza siasa. Huyo ameanza siasa. Let us stop those things. Cannot tell us in an organization, do you need somebody who is a mobilizer? In an organization. Do you want somebody who is a mobilizer to do what? Atakuwa na mobilize nini? Huyo ni mwanasiasa. Huyo anatafuta mwanasiasa. Before we discuss the different types of leaders, I want us to discuss what we call the important, no. Let us discuss first delegation of authority, then I will finalize with the concept of the different types of leaders. Because I want us, once we understand the different types of leaders, we go to the leadership styles. That's how. So let us discuss the concept of delegation, responsibility, and subtopic. Delegation, responsibility, and accountability. We shall go back to these different things, but in the meantime, let us discuss delegation, responsibility, and accountability. And I want us to start with a question. Define the following terms. Define the following terms. 1, delegation. Delegation, 1 mark. 2, responsibility, 1 mark. 3, accountability, 1 mark. And 4, power, 1 mark. Define the following terms. So we want to start with the first one, delegation. Oh, let us add the other, authority here. I've forgotten the word authority, so that somebody can remember. Authority. So what is the meaning of delegation? What is the meaning of delegation? I want us to write and say, delegation refers to the process delegation, the process by which a person with authority, by which a person with authority confers part of the authority, that is a marking point, confers part of the authority, they confer part of the authority to, confer part of the authority to their junior to act in a certain defined manner, to their junior. I'm not sure if here is a you, to act in a certain defined manner. So anytime you see the word delegation, person is conferring part of the authority. They are giving some of the authority to another person to act in a certain manner. Responsibility, the other one. What is the responsibility? It refers to the obligations placed on a person who occupies a given position in an organization. The obligation placed on a person who occupies a given position in the organization. The obligation placed on a person, responsibility. The obligations placed on a person who occupies a given position, in the organization. So the obligations, that is a marking point. Obligations, that is a marking point. Accountability. It is a requirement. Accountability. It is the requirement to give explanation. It is the requirement. It is a requirement to give explanations. To give explanations to the superiors. For failure to fulfill responsibility. Requirement to give explanations to the superiors, for failure to fulfill responsibilities. Now, do you understand when you tell somebody that there is accountability? We need accountability. You will need answers. You are giving explanation, or you are being answerable for some actions. So, that is what we call accountability. Power. The ability to influence other people's behavior. The ability to influence. It is the ability to influence other people's behavior. Other people's behavior. The other one? Authority. It is the ability, authority. It is the ability to give orders and exact obedience. The ability to give orders and exact obedience. The ability to give orders and exact obedience. Before we discuss delegation, let us discuss a question in your papers, on the last two. Distinguish between power and authority, 6 marks. Distinguish between power and authority, 6 marks. Or cite 3 differences. Cite 3 differences between power and authority. Okay, first, have you understood those definitions? You know, we want to avoid people cramming. We want people to understand. Have you understood those points? We have said here delegation. Somebody at a senior position is conferring, and I've said this is the marking point, conferring part of the authority to another person. So you are a senior, you are giving out some of your authorities to another person who is junior. It is a CEO who should make a decision on borrowing money. But now the CEO has said the accountant can also now, from today onwards, this authority I'm giving to the finance or our accountant. So that is the meaning of delegation. I am conferring part of my powers or my authority to another junior person. Sawa. Responsibility, obligations placed on a person due to the position they occupy in the organization. Obligation means the duties the duties of a person, the duty of a lecturer, teach, the duty of a lecturer, mark, because of the position. The marking point or the most important word, obligation. So you may paraphrase in your own way, lakini kizungu ihakikishe kuna obligations. Accountability, the requirement to give explanations. In other words, you will be answerable. So accountability refers to one being answerable for their actions. So here ni answerable. So the explanations, you have to put the explanation somewhere in your explanation or you're answering. Power, the ability to influence. So the marking point is influence. You may give us many things there, but you have to talk of influence, the ability to influence other people's behavior. Another one, authority. What is authority? Giving orders. You give orders. So when you are discussing those points, you have seen the main wordings, right? Good. Cite the differences between power and authority. Let us ask ourselves, draw a table. Power and authority. Obviously, I have said at any given time, start by definition. So you say power is, on one side you say power is the ability to influence. Good. This one is the ability to influence, the ability to influence other people's behavior. Very good. The ability to influence other people's behavior. What about authority? The ability to give orders. The ability to give orders. The ability to give orders and exert obedience. And exert obedience. Power is inherent. Power is inherent. What is the meaning of inherent? Hapa ni kizungu. What is the meaning of inherent? It comes from inward. It's an inward thing. It comes from inside the person. So power is inherent. What about authority? It comes from the formal position held. So it is derived from the formal position held. From the formal position held. Okay, if you understand that, that's okay. So inherent inside. This one, the other one is from the formal position that one comes from. Another one, power can be derived from all levels of the organization. It can be derived from all levels of organization. Do you understand on this? In other words, it does not have any flow. You can't tell us that because you're the most senior, you have power. Okay? Ata the most junior as an influence. When you look at these social media people, you only see, have you ever seen influencing people? Eh? When you're an influencer, see, bora unajua kitu, even your senior person can be following what you are saying because power is influencing. Your dress code. Have you seen people mistreating the junior personnel because they are dressing in a proper manner and they want to copy that style? Senior hiyo inaitwa power. So it can come from any level of organization. Even the most junior person can be influencing on the dress code. Senior, what about this one? It follows the chain of command. For the authority, it follows the chain of command. It follows the chain of command. It follows the chain of command. Chain of command. not actually chain, unity of command, sorry. It follows the unity of command. What is the difference between unity of command and a chain of command? Unity of command refers to where a subordinate will be reporting to one boss. But when you talk of chain of command, it is the flow of authority. No, so even I'm confusing. It is a chain of command, sorry. Follows the chain of command. The first one is the one that is correct. Chain of command, the flow of authority within the organization. So the most senior will be influencing all other, will be giving orders to all other persons. Senior. So it follows the chain of command. That is a proper way. My ancestors are visiting me, right? They're confusing me. So the chain of command, it should make sense. It follows the chain of command from the most senior to the most junior. You get our 6 marks. We have gotten our 6 marks. Now, from that, before we go to the delegation, let us discuss another question. Examine 5 sources. Examine 5 sources of managerial power. Examine 5 sources. 5 sources of managerial power. That is what somebody else will tell you. Tell us the basis of power in an organization. Basis of power in organization. What are some of the basis of power in the organization? What does that mean? What is the rationale of somebody influencing other people's behavior? So, what is the rationale? What is the basis? What led to this person influencing other people's behavior? 1, legitimate power. Legitimate power. Power derived from the position that one occupies. It is derived from the position that one occupies, in the organizational hierarchy. In the organizational hierarchy. So the first basis of you influencing other people's behavior in an organization, we can easily attribute it to the position that you occupy. And that one is what we call the legitimate power. You have been legitimized by the position that you occupy. 2, reward power. Reward power. Derived from, it is derived from the ability of the manager or the influencer, to reward persons in exchange of compliance, and loyalty. In exchange of compliance and loyalty. Exchange of compliance and loyalty. So when you talk of reward power, so you are influencing people. They are behaving in a particular manner. Why? You are giving them some rewards. And then what are they doing? They are loyal to you. Have you seen somebody doing those things in Kenya? Yeah. Even our president is using this one. Is it true? We are not so sure about what you have said. I am not sure, but I'm sure of he rewards. He he will be rewarding you in exchange of compliance and loyalty. So, yeah. So he uses the reward power. The other one, referent power. Referent power. the referent power. What is the meaning of referent power? We can easily say it is based on the follower's identification, actually no, let us put it this way. It is based on persons being inspired by the leader or influencer. You are inspired by the leader or the influencer. What does that mean? The subordinates, not subordinates, it is where the followers want to be associated. Just explain there so that when you read, you remember. It is where the followers desire to be associated, or emulated by a man, sorry, what have I said? Desire? Not by, with a certain leader. They want to be associated with a certain leader or influencer. So referent power refers to where somebody is inspiring or is acting as a mentor. You see, people want to be like you, so you are a mentor to them. So they will want to behave the way you are behaving. Is it making sense? So the persons being inspired by the leader or influencer. Yes, you want to be associated, you want to be like that person. You want to be treated in that manner. The other one, expert power. Expert power. Expert power. What is the meaning of expert power? We can easily say, derived from the specific knowledge and expertise of the influencer. Derived from the specific, yeah, their role model. That is what that I was looking for. Now, it is derived from the specific knowledge and expertise, knowledge and expertise of the influencer, the specific knowledge or expertise of the influencer, okay, or the manager. The other one, charismatic power. Charismatic power. What is charismatic power? Somebody has a charisma. What does that mean? Derived from the inherent traits of the influencer. This is power derived from the inherent traits of an influencer. For example, they have good public speaking skills. So, that one they have some charisma, the good speaking skills. The president also has this, right? Charismatic power. He knows how to attract the people. The other hand, association power. Association power. It is derived, there is a power that is derived from associating with someone who has power. Derived from associating with someone who has power. For example, the wife of a governor. si automatically anapata tu powers anaanza kutu influence, si ndio? If you are the wife of a manager in the organization, we expect that you will be influencing others, right? Because you are associated with somebody who has the other one, coercive power. Coercive power, it is derived from the use of intimidation, threats, and fear to others. I will dismiss you if you fail to follow what I am saying. That is what we are saying. You are using some aspect of, you're causing some fear on someone so that they can follow what you're saying. Coercive power. Those are different. You have to be king. Those of us taking leadership, I have seen an examiner giving you very many stories. And then they're saying the wife of a somebody was trying to dismiss the employees. Have you ever watched a movie? Somebody is a manager, the wife is coming and she wants to control people. Same thing. Then you ask, what is that type of power? What will you say? Coercive. Why not association? Okay. So the wife is not part of the organization, but she's coming to control others. So ukitumia coercive na yeye the basis yake kwanza kuingia kwa hiyo organization, it's just because you are the wife of that person, nothing else. So even if somebody is convincing you with the words like, oh, she was giving some kizungu inapotea, what is this, ultimatums, that if you fail to do this, then I will dismiss you from this job. She may be saying all those things, but the basis is not coercion. The basis is association. She wants the association because I'm the wife of this manager. What I say must be followed. If you fail to do that, then please be keen in an exam. You see, that people get confused. The first basis is association. She was associated with someone who has power. And therefore, that is why she's coming up with these ultimatums. So the coercive power is when the manager themselves, they are giving the threats and intimidations. Good. So from that thing that we have discussed, let us discuss what we call the principles of delegation. Let us now go back to the other terms. Examine 5 principles of delegation. Examine 5 principles of delegation. Examine 5 principles of delegation. When you see the word principle, what comes to your mind? A principle is a guideline. So we want to discuss what are the guidelines of delegation. What are the guidelines of effective delegation? If you want to confer part of your authority to other persons, what are the effective guidelines? So, 1, the principle of functional definition. Principle of functional definition. The principle of functional definition. What is the meaning of principle of functional definition? It states that there should be a clear definition of the tasks. Clear definition of the tasks to be undertaken by the delegated authority. by the delegated authority. There should be a proper, clear definition of the tasks, clear definition. That is the marking point, so that you can clearly know which is the authority that has been delegated. So, clear definition of the task. The other, the principle of unity of command. What have we said is the meaning of principle of unity of command? So for us to conduct effective delegation, the principle of unity of command is there. What does it say? A subordinate should report to one single boss. A subordinate should report to one single, the marking point, one single, one subordinate should report to one single boss or superior in that case. The other one, the principle of delegation by results expected. The principle of delegation by results expected. By the results expected. What is the meaning of the principle of delegation by the results expected? It says that delegation of authority should be the delegation of authority should be on the basis of results expected. Should be on the basis of the results expected. Should be on the basis of the results expected. So we will only give you this authority because of when there should be some parity, the authority that you are being given and the expected results. Tusikupatia authority nyingi na hakuna results unategea from your end. Sawa, that is what we are saying there. The principle of chain of command. The principle of chain of command. Or the scalar principle, principle of chain of command. The chain of command, or what we call the scalar principle. The scalar principle. What is the meaning of the scalar principle? The principle of chain of command or the scalar principle. What is the meaning? There should be a clear flow of authority. Clear flow of authority in the organization. The clear flow of authority from the most senior to the most junior in the organization. Clear flow of authority. That is what we see. Another one, the principle of absoluteness of responsibility. The principle of absoluteness of responsibility. The principle of absoluteness of responsibility. What does that mean? The superior remains answerable. They remain answerable for the actions of the subordinate. The actions of the subordinate. They remain answerable for the actions of the subordinate. The other one, the authority level principle. Authority level principle. What is the meaning of authority level principle? The authority level principle, it states that delegation requires the decisions Within the delegation requires the decisions within the authority competence of the individuals. Within the authority competence of the individuals, decisions within the authority competence of individuals be made by them, competence of individuals be made by them instead of conferring upwards, be made by them instead of conferring upwards, instead of conferring upwards. I will explain these things. Let us first try them. Conferring upwards. And then the last one, you can say the principle of parity of authority and responsibility. Principle of parity of authority and responsibility. Principle of parity of authority, and responsibility. There should be balance between the authority delegated. There should be balance between the authority delegated and the responsibilities in the given position. And the responsibilities in the given position. I want us to understand and then we leave, so that we avoid that person who is only writing notes. So you have said there should be a balance between the authority and responsibility. Kama nimesema kitu kingine? The responsibilities. Actually, you can say the responsibilities within a given position. That's okay. Listen, we have said what is the meaning of delegation? Conferring part of authority. For us to confer part of the authority to persons, we need to have there is something we call proper mechanisms that will guide that delegation. And that is what we are calling the principles. So we are saying one of the guidelines or one of the principles of delegation is that we need to ensure there is clear definition of the authority delegated so that there is no ambiguity. You need to tell me that you are the manager, yes, but these are now the specific tasks that I have delegated to you so that no one will abuse the authority. There will be no encroachment of authority. Tusipate tunashare. So there's a clear definition. That is what it is saying here. Principle of unity of command. For us to have effective delegation, the subordinates should report to one boss, so that you don't find that one boss is telling you, I have given you this authority. Then on the other hand, the other person is saying, no, I am still the one who is making this decision. So there needs to be some unity of command, that we are only reporting to one boss. And this one boss is telling me, I have given you these functions. Okay, to avoid any confusion. The other one, the principle of delegation by results. There should be a very good balance between the authority that you have given you and the results. So we are giving you this authority and we are also expecting some results from this authority. So if we have told you that you will be the one who will be managing these systems in this organization, we expect proper results. There is some output that we are expecting from you. So that is what is a principle of delegation by results expected, and they should be balanced. We don't find that you have given me some very small authority, but then you expect very huge results. There should be a balance. This one, the principle of chain of command, the scalar principle, well-defined chain of authority in the organization. Principle of absoluteness of responsibility. That is what in our introduction to law we commonly call it the vicarious liability. Have you ever heard that one? Vicarious liability. Vicarious. This one. Vicarious liability. As an employer, you will be held liable for the actions of your employee. Same thing here. Even though you have delegated your authority, you are still the one to be held answerable. That is why we are saying clearly define and ensure that this person will be reporting to you, so that in case of any actions, you're the one to absorb what will happen. The principle of absoluteness of responsibility. The superior is the one to always remain liable. The other one, authority level principle, decisions. What we are saying is, if you have said that I'm the one who is the head of these systems, the technical systems and etc. If there's a decision, for example, buying of battery, if it is a decision that is within my competence, within my area, let me make that decision without then going back to you. Sawa. That is what you're saying, the authority level principle. Let decisions be made by the delegated authority without going upwards. Kama umeniambia ni mimi na deal na hii, nisikuwa umeniambia, then kitu kidogo, I need to go back to you. So authority level principle, let the person make the decision. Then the other one, you have said the principle of parity of authority and responsibility, balancing between authority and the responsibility, sorry. So, please understand them. Why? So that if somebody will ask you somewhere, can you guide us on some of the, because I'll ask you a question, the guidelines of effective delegation, as we shall be finalizing this, okay? But in the meantime, assignment questions. Assignment question. Discuss 4 types of delegation. Discuss 4 types of delegation. Discuss 4 types of delegation. Discuss 4 types of delegation formats. 2. Suggest 5 advantages of delegation of authority. Suggest 5 advantages of delegation of authority. We shall come and finalize that topic in our next class. In the meantime, try to answer those questions. Let us meet in our next class.